Hey guys, John Loxley here, back with a new review. This is a story about my uncle. Now, this game was released by, actually I don't remember the developers, but it was 2014, and it's now currently $15. If you don't watch anything else in the video, would I recommend the game? No. Negative. Very much not. Which kind of a shame, honestly, because I think I got this as part of a Humble Bundle, and I was actually fairly excited to play it, going through my backlog. Played it for the channel. As of the time of this recording, it's should be up on the channel, but pretty excited to play it, and it turned out to be terrible, which is a disappointment. So I'll show you guys some of the gameplay here in a second. Let me tell you the 4 things that I liked about it first, and then I'll show you a little gameplay, and we'll talk about most of the negatives. So what it basically is imagine if the devs, or if someone was like, hey, we're going to make a walking simulator, but we're going to make the gameplay actually good. It's like, all right, cool. Fantastic idea. I like that. Make a game that's fun to play and a good story. And it's a good idea. Unfortunately, they fail on both counts for this game. But that's the first thing I like. I like the idea. It's a great idea. It's fantastic. The other couple things are, I like the art design. You can't really tell here, but you'll see some of it in a minute. I like the look of it. The art design is great. It's a little cartoony, a little stylized. It's nice. I like it. And the animation too works really well. The world is also really interesting, or at least the setting. And I wanted to know more about it. That's also kind of a negative because they don't really tell you a lot about it. But I wanted to know more. And then the fourth thing that I liked, and I mean, there are other minor things, but there's this character, Maddie. And I liked her. I like the character. She's like a little kid. She has character development. She has an arc. And that's good. And unfortunately, it's also kind of a negative because she's a side character. And how they start, you think there's going to be like a setup for a payoff later in the game, and there's not. And the bad part is, like, she's got great development and she has an arc, but she's a side character, and that's it. And she has more development than anyone else. Anyone else in the whole game, and she's just a side character. You know, she's only with you for a couple parts. So let's we'll start a new game. You can kind of see. I mean, I guess. So you'll kind of see. Hope.
Dad?
Aren't you sleeping yet? It's time for bed, honey.
Dad, I can't sleep. Can you tell me a bedtime story?
All right. What do you want to hear?
Something about an adventure.
I think I know just the thing. When I was your age, my biggest dream was to follow my Uncle Fred on one of his adventures around the world. One day, he disappeared.
So starts off great setup. Kind of one of the negative things, though, is the voice acting is not good. It's about that quality through most of the game. There's a couple exceptions, but yeah, it's you're just like, ugh. And the other thing is, like, the little girl. It's kind of a neat premise, right? Starts off, he's like, okay, yeah, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you about my Uncle Fred that went on adventures around the world, and let me tell you one of my crazy adventures, right? And you're like, oh, okay, cool. And that's kind of how I would basically summarize this game, is a lot of setup and zero payoff. It's not even like they rushed the game. You could tell, some games, you could tell they started, there's, you know, fantastic start, like the first third or half or whatever, and then all of a sudden it like falls apart and you're like, oh yeah, they had to rush it, they ran out of time or whatever. This one, it's just like it seems like maybe they didn't plan ahead or something, or maybe I don't know. I didn't look into this at all. Maybe it was released episodically and it was supposed to have a setup and then they just forgot, you know? I don't know. It's because normally they record the voice acting towards the beginning, right? So you'd at least have all that stuff, and then you're like, well, we have all these assets. Let's shove them in the game somewhere, and they don't. You know, it's just like they forgot or something. So very odd. The character of the little girl, you know, you'd think that would have some impact on the story. It doesn't. It's just a way for example, you find all these supplies all over the place, and she asks like, why are there so many supplies all over the place? And he's like, oh, Fred, he was always forgetting stuff, and so he brought supplies, like a lot of supplies. He just had tons of supplies, and that's why he also kept forgetting them everywhere. That's why there's supplies everywhere. Oh, and something's maybe going on with my camera. The color is not good. Or it's good now. I don't think it was good earlier, but anyway. But the fact that you need her to ask, it doesn't matter. You could just have the narrator say that. You know, you see a box and you could just be like, oh, that Uncle Fred, he kept forgetting all his supplies everywhere. You know, you don't need her. You'd also think there's some kind of parallel with Maddie's character later in the game. It's like, no. Zero. It's disappointing. It's really, really disappointing. So, right. WASD to move, mouse to look around. We'll go through the... Wow, maybe my setting is... I think that's...
I stepped into the lobby of my uncle's house. It lay just across the hill from where I lived with my mother, your grandmother. She had tried to keep me from going, but I wanted to see if Fred was home yet from his latest adventure.
Hold to... Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. You only use this zoom thing here, maybe? I think it's... If I'm remembering right. And, you know, you get to wander around the house, you see a bunch of weird stuff that is unfortunately repeated. Like, look at this drawing, look at how crazy that is. Oh, it's repeated over there, or something, you know? A diving helmet, Daddy's helmet. So Fred, he's from a line of pioneers or something.
My uncle used to send me postcards from his long journeys. Greetings from Nepal, Galapagos, Kilimanjaro, the Amazon River. This was the first time he had left without a word, without sending cards.
Again, they're building up this grand adventure, and it's just... Nope. The biggest thing, I don't know if we'll even... I think we'll see it in a second, but... or will we? Right, okay, so... We have Fantastic Frederick's disposal system. And it's snowing outside. It's actually a great location for the house.
I had visited Uncle Fred's house countless of times. But in the locker, which usually was closed, I found something I hadn't seen before. It was an adventure suit. It resembled the one that Fred used, but smaller in size.
Again, it's like he left it here for him
Curiosity
specifically.
got the better of me, and I tried it on. It fit like it had been custom made for me.
They don't address that at all, by the way. Also, that looks like an adult hand. I'm just saying, like, kids' hands are different looking. They're not just small adults. And
The most mysterious room of my uncle's house was the observatory. There he kept his newest experiments, and right now it held a pad used for disposing of garbage. Uncle Fred had warned me not to touch any of his things. But, as I said, I was a curious child.
yeah, okay. A pad for disposing of garbage. Welcome to Fred. Pull the lever to launch. Like... Oh, there you go. Opening dome. Great setup. A setup that's never used. And it just pulled me onto the pad, which is strange. It pulled us, but nothing else. It's a little unbelievable. It just rockets you into space, but I mean, that's fine. It's fine. All right. I don't know if we're gonna see the biggest issue.
Crash, but thanks to the suit, I wasn't hurt. I had no idea where the pad had taken me, but back then, I didn't care so much about where I was going, or how I would get home.
Right, so they're sort of establishing that you can fall, right? It's sort of like Chell's boots in Portal, or Portal 2. Alright, we got some random stuff. By the way, none of this is ever explained either. You're like, what's all this weird writing? What is this thing? It looks like a specific location we teleported to. No. Oh, we can run. Yeah. Alright, so this is what I mean. Look at this world. It looks fantastic. I want to know more about this world. Why there's floating rocks. They do explain that, kind of. What... Yeah, there we go. What the deal with this world is. And then... So, and this is the first of the big problems. Not the fact that this is your checkpoint, okay? But... the fact that basically every place you land requires one. So, the biggest flaw of this game, and why... I've sort of explained why the story is crap, but let's talk about the gameplay for a second, because I'm not sure we're going to get to a point where I can kind of show it to you. It's all... Right now, we're actually walking around, and I think we can jump, too, which is cool. We're going to get to a point where literally there's no bridges, and we're just sort of... It's not even a grapple, it's a hook shot. Okay? And it's momentum based. So if you shoot like that rock over there, which we can't do yet, it'll pull you towards it. But what you need to do is grapple on and then kind of let go as you're getting near, and then grapple the next thing. Because if you hit it, you'll just fall. And then you'll have to restart from the checkpoint. And it basically wow, excuse me. It takes what was a walking simulator, and it's basically like, hey, instead of walking everywhere, what if we just grapple everywhere? And it becomes like, if you've ever watched, say, like the Ocarina of Time speedrun, where Link just rolls, where they just roll for 10 hours. Because that's the fastest way to go around. That's basically this game. Instead of just walking everywhere, you grapple everywhere. There are very few places where you actually get to walk around and explore. And it starts off interesting, and then by the next chapter it becomes tedious, and then every chapter after that it just becomes tedious and frustrating, and you know, you become bored.
Protected me from falls on the ground, but not in water. I couldn't swim with this thing on. Best be careful.
I don't remember if you can walk over that. You can, yay. And then, can we get to the point where there's a grapple? Or does this... No. And that's the weird thing. Right now, there's a jump, like a power jump. I think you do use that towards the... still, but not very much. So, okay, we jump here, yay. It's a little terrifying, if I'm being honest. But, yeah, okay, so we're gonna run. Because, right, charge up the suit and power... Oh, right, I forgot the controller's plugged in and it...
I was sure that someone had been here before me.
Well, of course.
Someone had built these bridges and carved these symbols, but who? Where were they now?
It's never answered, actually, either. Okay, sprinting to power leap. All this stuff right now is like kind of interesting. You're like, whoa, that's cool. It's a collectible. There's, I don't know how many of them there are. All right. Are we going to get to the point where we grapple or no? Well, we're going to try landing. Okay. Ah, shit. Oh, see, there you go. Oh, no, it's... You get the grapple right there. Let's see if we can do that. Okay. Now we gotta wait for this thing to go around. And wow, excuse me. Like I said, it looks neat at first, but it's... Yeah, it just becomes tedious. You know? A great example, okay? So at one point during the game, they've talked about the crystals and how everything's floating, and you're still trying to find your Uncle Fred, right? So you go outside, and it's just like this landscape, right? And you see how now there's basically the floating rocks that delineates your path, right? So it tells you where you're supposed to go. Well, I see it, and kind of like now it's going around the edge. But it's going to the left. It's going to the left in this example I'm talking about. So in the distance, you see a mountain. And they talk about all these platforms being powered by crystals. That's why everything's able to levitate, because it's a crystal. It's a crystal thing, the crystals float, whatever. You see a mountain made of this crystal. And it's even like the top of it's even separated and floating from the rest of it. So you're like, okay, Crystal Mountain, cool. The people keep talking about Ice Mountain. You're like, it's not ice, you idiots, it's crystal. But whatever. So you see the path, you see it go around, there's some more rocks, and then over here in the distance, you see a radio tower. You see a radio tower with a flashing light on top, or a cell tower or something, and you're like, oh wow, that's where Fred is. That's the final destination. You never go there. And again, maybe it was rushed. Maybe they just forgot. I don't know. You end up going to the mountain and then you sort of end the game there. And it's like, wait, so even though I think I'm supposed to go around, I'm still looking for Fred. There's a freaking radio tower. Like, of course that's where I'm going. No, you go to the mountain. It's like, why? I might make it. I'm gonna land right there. Yep, and there's a ladder. It's like, who built this before me? It's like, Fred, of course. Who else would build it? I mean, technically, no. Oh, are you coming over? What's up, Manny? Can I move a little bit forward? Grapple device charged.
I found activated the suit's grappling device when I picked it up. It must have been left here by my uncle.
Oh, there's the kitty. Okay, drag yourself towards areas, and the symbol is you're basically going to see these to where you can grapple. You can't grapple on every surface, but many you can. And then it pulls you. Oh yeah, my controller. And that's it. And then do. All right, where are you going? So now do the grapple. This is way longer than I wanted it to be, but I think I've showed you guys the basic gameplay. And like I said, now do this for however many more hours the game is. It took me about 5, which was probably about, I'd say maybe do it 2 or 3, and the most common achievement is 14%. 14% of people have that achievement. And the thing is, it's all about the gameplay. Like, they really wanted the gameplay to be good, but it's just not. You know, I found myself getting frustrated because it just becomes so dull after a while. There's more mechanics. You know, they are pretty good at adding extra stuff. But it's like, it really is like, you know, Ocarina of Time, where it's like you just roll. But oh, imagine you got something to roll faster, and imagine you could roll twice before whatever, or roll for a longer distance, or add a jump to the roll. It's just, you're like, why can't I just walk there? You know, it'd just be so much better. You know, that's how I feel about this game. So anyway, that's basically it. Should we go a little bit farther? Manny is like right here. I mean, you could grapple, and there you go. Light up when you're enraged. Grapple. I can't even see what the heck wait, can I grapple that? Oh. There we go. Oh, yeah, see, it's vibrating the controller. That's fine. See, it gives you momentum, which...
grappling device left a sort of symbol.
Am I stuck?
I grappled. I noticed similar symbols
I'm falling.
already there in the cave. And I was getting more and more certain that this place was where Fred had gone.
I bet they're not native English speakers. That would be my guess. The people doing the voice acting. You are a crazy one. But anyway, guys, I think I'll leave it here. Like I said, this right now it's about 20 minutes. I really wanted the review to be about 10, but I think I've explained it pretty thoroughly. I think I've showed. I mean, man, I don't know. I'm even getting a little frustrated thinking about my experience. I was gonna say if you got it in the Humble Bundle like I did, or if it's in your backlog already, maybe give it a playthrough. I don't know if I can. I mean, I don't even know if I can recommend playing it. Like, that's if you've already purchased it. You know what I mean? Like, that's how poorly I think about it. Oh my gosh, you're the cutest little kitty. You want to cuddle? Here, let's cuddle. Okay, let's cuddle, mister. Oh my goodness. Oh, the cutest. Yep. Oh man. You're my little baby. See, this is way better than playing the game. Cuddling with a kitten right here. Oh yes, you're my little fat baby. And to be fair, it only started getting really bad probably, like I said, the halfway mark maybe. I don't know. 2/3 of the way through, I was like, okay, I'm sick of this. Let's move it along. And yeah, and especially the last area, I was like, oh my god, how long is this gonna go on for? It was rough. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Ugh. Pushing on my throat. That's no good, Manny. Really do appreciate it. Really hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care. You are a crazy one. You are a crazy one. Let's just exit.
It's getting late, honey. Should we continue tomorrow?
No. Continue never.